Imagine every thought you have running wild through your head at work. Now picture trying to lead while wrestling with all that inner chatter. Today, we're diving into emotional agility, the skill that separates thriving leaders from those stuck in frustration.
And I'm excited for this conversation because emotional agility isn't just some soft skill, it's actually linked to better performance and less stress. We'll unpack how leaders manage negative thoughts, why suppressing emotions backfires, and 4 practical steps to get unhooked.
We'll walk through real examples, talk about the surprising science behind our mental habits, and give you actionable tools to tackle your own emotional challenges at work.
By the end, you'll have a roadmap, spotting your patterns, labeling thoughts and emotions, practicing acceptance, and acting on your values. Ready to rethink how you handle your inner critic? Let's jump in.
So, here's the thing. Even the most successful leaders experience self-doubt, guilt, or anger. The trouble isn't having negative thoughts, it's getting hooked by them, like a fish snagged on a line.
Exactly. We see this play out everywhere. Leaders aren't failing because they feel uncertainty or frustration. They stumble when those feelings dictate their choices or sap their energy.
I've noticed 2 common traps. Some leaders treat their thoughts as absolute truths, avoiding anything that makes them uncomfortable, while others try to rationalize their feelings away, forcing themselves into situations that don't fit their values.
Both approaches waste mental resources, and ironically, trying to suppress emotions can make them louder. It's a cycle that leaves leaders stressed and less innovative. That actually reminds me of the classic study about white bears telling people not to think about something only makes it more persistent.
Let's bring this idea to life with Cynthia and Jeffrey, 2 leaders who illustrate how emotional hooks derail us. Cynthia, a corporate lawyer juggling motherhood, felt guilt about not being enough at work or home.
Meanwhile, Jeffrey, a rising executive, struggled with anger toward bosses, subordinates, colleagues. He tried to bottle it up, but it only intensified, and he felt like denying a core part of himself.
What's striking is that both tried to avoid discomfort Cynthia by ignoring her guilt, Jeffrey by suppressing his frustration. The result? They became prisoners to their own thoughts and feelings, unable to move forward.
And that's a pattern we see everywhere. Leaders spend years, sometimes decades, wrestling with recurring emotional challenges, inventing fixes that don't really work. The good news is there's a way out.
This is where the 4-step approach comes in, borrowed from acceptance and commitment therapy. Step 1, recognize your patterns. Are your thoughts rigid and repetitive, like Cynthia's guilt or Jeffrey's anger?
Step 2 is labeling your thoughts and emotions. Instead of, I'm not doing enough, you say, I'm having the thought that I'm not doing enough. It's surprisingly powerful suddenly. Your inner critic is just passing by, not driving the bus.
Then comes acceptance. Rather than fighting or fleeing your feelings, you acknowledge them. It's not about resignation, but curiosity. What is this emotion telling me? Jeffrey found his anger was a signal. Something important was at stake.
Finally, act on your values. Once you're unhooked, you can make choices that align with who you want to be, like Cynthia, who balanced her commitments to family and work once she let go of guilt and focused on her core values.
Funny you say that, because the values part is so often overlooked. Leaders can get lost in the storm of thoughts and emotions, forgetting what matters most. There's actually a values card, sort accuracy, achievement, compassion, creativity, and dozens more.
When you hit a tough situation, just ask, is my response consistent with my values? Am I serving my long-term goals, or getting swept up by momentary feelings? This shift lets you steer your decisions, not just react.
I like to recommend checking your emotional state several times a day. Notice what pops up, label it, and consider what value you want to bring to this moment. Over time, you get more agile, less hooked.
And you don't have to be perfect. Even seasoned leaders find themselves hooked sometimes. The key is repetition. Each time you practice, you get a bit better at freeing up your mental bandwidth for what matters.
Let's wrap up with a few takeaways. First, it's normal to to have negative thoughts and feelings. What matters is not getting stuck in them. Second, labeling and accepting your inner experiences helps you gain perspective. Third, acting on your values lets you lead with purpose, not just react.
If you want to build emotional agility, start today. Pick a challenging situation, identify the thought or feeling that hooks you, label it, and ask which value you want to express. Practice this daily, it's a game changer.
Thanks for joining us. Next time, we'll tackle resilience and how leaders bounce back from setbacks. Until then, stay mindful and keep steering by your values.
See you soon. And remember, emotional agility is a skill you build, not something you're born with. Take that first step, and you'll see the difference.